It's the final day of August here at Miller Park. It could be an historic one as well, as the Brewers are set to battle the St. Louis Cardinals. It's game 2 of this 3-game series, and another packed stadium is expected here on a warm Wednesday night. The battle all begins on the mound. It's Jake Westbrook of the Cardinals, who is winless against Milwaukee in 2 previous starts this season, and Randy Wolf, who's going for his 12th win overall in the 2011 campaign, and has won 5 of his last 6 outings. Hi, everybody. Davey Nelson and Craig Kashan back with you here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Season series so far, the Brewers have controlled that for the most part. St. Louis playing with their backs against the wall. They won last night's game as they try to catch up on an enormous deficit. What separated, though, the Brewers from the Cardinals in your mind?
Well, number one, the Cardinals came in this season probably with the best pitching staff, but then guys got hurt. No doubt the pitching separated from both ends, I think from the starters to the bullpen. The Brewers have outpitched the Cardinals.
They have an 8-5 advantage right now and hope to improve on that win total tonight and get this series back to even. Well, 2-1 games like last night keep you on the edge of your seat. So what gives you a heart condition? BA and Rock tell us maybe only Corey Hart would know.
Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Triple Hops Brewed Miller Lite. Taste greatness. By AT&T. And brought to you by Toyota, proud sponsor of the Milwaukee Brewers and the Toyota territory at Miller Park. Nobody does it better than Wisconsinites here at Miller Park. Tailgating going on outside. The Brewers and the Cardinals getting ready for game 2 of this series inside. And the Brewers 9.5 up on St. Louis. Cardinals winning last night. They have trimmed off that deficit, and the Brewers try to put a big stake in the ground tonight here in game 2 as Corey Hart is hoping to stay hot. And hi, everybody. Brian Anderson along with Bill Schroeder. Great to have you with us from beautiful Miller Park. It's another great night for baseball. And Ron Renicky has some decisions to be made when he gets Ricky Weeks back. It does not appear that he's going to make a change at the top of the lineup, though, because Corey Hart has been outstanding so far.
And his job is to get on base, and it's nice to when he gets on base, circles the bases. He got the 4 leadoff home runs out of that leadoff spot. He's got an on-base percentage at .360 for the year, but his last 12 games have been incredible. The Brewers are 8-4 in that stretch, at .442 on-base percentage. You see it in the fine print. That's the most important statistic for a leadoff guy. He's having a great homestand, 9 for 14. He's got his overall batting average up to 285. Corey Hart has been tremendous.
Well, the Brewers have won 3 out of 4 on the homestand, but they try to win for the first time of this series against the Cardinals. It is game 2, and it is the Howler on the mound. Randy Wolf matching up against Jake Westbrook. Game 2 coming up next on Fox Sports Wisconsin. And Randy Wolf on his way out to the Miller Park mound. He'll match up against St. Louis tonight. Wolf going after his 12th win of the year. A beautiful night for baseball here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Glad you're with us. Brian Anderson, Bill Schroeder, and Telly Hughes. And there is Tony La Russa. Tony La Russa's Cardinals at 71-64 right now, 9.5 back. They know this is a very important series. There are 5 games remaining between these two teams. You see the batting order today for Tony La Russa, rounded out by Jake Westbrook, who will be on the mound against the Brewers tonight. And Randy Wolf will face that batting order. See the numbers for Randy Wolf at 11-8 and Rock, a 3.37 ERA. Continues to put up terrific numbers in 2011.
Yeah, Randy 5-0 with a 257 earned run average in his last 6 starts. 7-2 here at Miller Park this year. Good guy to have out there in the mound against the Cardinals.
Rafael Furcal leads off, and the first pitch is outside ball 1. Away we go here at Miller Park tonight. Cardinals winning last night 2-1. Edwin Jackson was the winner. Fernando Salas notched the save. Tough luck loss for Sean Markham, who pitched well. Tim Cheetah calling the balls and strikes tonight. Base umpires Jeff Nelson, Marty Foster, and Bill Welke. As for call goes into left field, Ryan Braun is on the run and out of room, and Rafael for call starts it with a bang for the Cardinals. Call has hit 4 home runs this year, 3 of them against the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah, he got a 2-0 fastball right down the middle of the plate, and he was able to ride it on out of here. Call's got some pretty good power when he's looking fastball, knocking it out of here. Man, Randy's done such a good job of keeping the baseball in the ballpark lately. And a back leg swing by Call, and he knocks it out of here to give the Cardinals an early lead.
Alan Craig, a big swing. Craig in the 2-hole for Rafael Call. It is his 28th career leadoff home run. He's shown plenty of pop throughout his career. Not known as a home run hitter, but he does have that home run ability every now and then. And gives the Cardinals the early lead this afternoon. Alan Craig out to Jerry Hairston. And there is out number 1. Check the defense behind Randy Wolf tonight. Ryan Braun, Nigel Morgan, and Corey Hart. Infield of Casey McGee, Betancourt with Hairston and Fielder on the right side. And George Kataris doing the catching. Typically catches Randy Wolf this season. Randy Wolf made a start against the Cubs earlier on this homestand. He picked up a win, went 6 2/3 against Chicago, and gave up just 1 earned run. Facing Albert Pujols with 1 away and a run in. Pujols was hitless yesterday. He did reach base twice via the walk. Was 0 for 2 at the plate. That one's hit hard. Center field. Back is Morgan. He'll watch this one go. So Albert Pujols with a home run. And not a good start for Randy Wolf and the Brewers. The Cardinals with a quick 2-0 lead on solo home runs from Call and Pujols.
Well, he's been so good at keeping the baseball in the ballpark. In his previous 9 starts, he'd only allowed 3 home runs. He's already given up 2 in the first 3 hitters. Well, getting a little bit too much of the plate with the fastball down in the zone, and Albert, as he usually does, stands there and watches it. A 2-0 lead for St. Louis.
Pujols now with 32 home runs for the season. Two nothing Cardinals now. Matt Holliday. Holliday hitting .304 with 19 homers, 67 driven in. Brewers were able to keep the big boppers down yesterday. Berkman, Pujols, Holliday all went hitless in yesterday's game, but the Cardinals scored just enough as Holliday is out in front. Fly ball to Corey Hart. And there is out number 2. This homestand will wrap up tomorrow, and it is a 3:10 first pitch tomorrow. We'll have it for you here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. On the air at 2:30. A little bit unusual start time tomorrow, so if you have tickets for tomorrow's game, note that start time. Brewers are headed to Houston after the game, and they'll start a series with the Astros on Friday night. 3 games in Houston, and then 3 with the Cardinals, and that'll be the final series of the year with St. Louis. With one more win, the Brewers can secure a season series victory against St. Louis. Right now, the Brewers are 8-5. Bouncing ball up the middle, and that's a base hit. David Freese with a single. The Cardinals coming out swinging the bats here tonight.
Yeah, somewhat reminds you of Randy's last start against the Cubs. He gave up that leadoff home run to Starlin Castro and then was able to settle down pretty well. And just not able to command his fastball too well here in the first inning. There it is. It out over the plate and just rolls it into center field. So 3 hits in the first for the Cardinals.
And you saw they had Betancourt playing in the hole between short and third. Well, not a bad option when your 6th place hitter in the lineup has 30 homers. And the top run producer for these Cardinals this year, Lance Berkman, a much better hitter as a left-handed hitter. One of the reasons why La Russa drops him down into the 6th spot, a little lower in the lineup when he hits right-handed.
Only 4 of his 30 home runs have come as a right-handed hitter. Berkman loses a lot of his power when he's on this side of the plate.
And the splits for Lance Berkman.
4 home runs, 12 RBIs is all. That batting average not too bad, but you know, all the power from the left side of the plate.
No, but a lot of talk about Lance Berkman and the fact that he has expressed his desire to stay in St. Louis. He does not want to be traded. And tomorrow or today is the last day. So it does not look like Berkman will be traded to a contender like he was last year when the Astros traded him to the Yankees. He wants to stay in St. Louis. He'd like to sign a deal for next year as Randy Wolf strikes him out. And the inning is over, but the Cardinals with a couple of solo homers. Rafael Furcal, you don't expect that. You do expect Pujols. His 32nd of the year, and it's 2-0 St. Louis. Rafael Furcal and Albert Pujols as we head to the bottom of the first, and Ron Renicki's batting order tonight brought to you by Piggly Wiggly. Corey Hart, Niger Morgan, Ryan Braun at the top. You got Fielder, McGee, and Betancourt with Hairston, Kotaris, and Wolf rounding it out. And it's Jake Westbrook on the mound for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, Cardinals picked him up midway through last year, making his 28th start of the year. Westbrook 0-2 this year in 2 starts against Milwaukee, a .485 earned run average.
And here's Corey Hart to lead off. He's on some kind of streak right now. Hart, a 12-game hitting streak. We talked about him in our open. He's got a batting average over .400 during the streak and an on-base percentage over .400 during the streak as well. Hart comes in batting .285. Niger Morgan to follow, then the big boys coming up.
And the impressive thing for Corey, his ability to get on base, whether it be a walk or a base hit for the season. A .360 on base percentage. That's one of the reasons why Ron Renicki's been very happy with him in the leadoff spot.
Well, here's how the Cardinals line up defensively behind the ground ball specialist, Jake Westbrook. It's Holiday, Craig, and Berkman in the outfield. And then Friesen for Call on the left side. Theriot and Pujols on the right side, with Yadier Molina, the Gold Glover, behind the plate. Jake Westbrook typically gets a lot of run support. Cardinals scoring nearly 6 runs per game And Westbrook is on the mound this year. And already 2 on the board before he even toes the rubber at Miller Park tonight. Hard into right center field. This ball is well hit. And this ball is gone. A booming home run from Corey Hart. 13 in a row. And his 22nd home run of the season.
How about Corey Hart taking one to the opposite field into the Toyota territory out there? That was a blast. Using the whole field very well. And Corey Hart with his 5th leadoff home run of the year. And number 22. Well, Westbrook doesn't give up many. He relies on keeping the baseball down. Got one up to Corey that time, and he took it deep into right center.
Now Nigel Morgan. Corey Hart, so add one more home run to the tally. 22, now 51 runs batted in. His 7th career leadoff home run. And his 5th of the season as Morgan goes down the left field line. Matt Holliday is there for out number 1. And the updated Powerball home run leaderboard. Corey Hart closing in on Ryan Braun even. Fielder with 29. Braun with 25. In pursuit of not only a batting title, but perhaps a 30-30 season. Braun has already achieved the stolen bases. Has 31 steals and 5 home runs away from 30 homers.
And Braun and Hart get hot. You can have 3 guys with 30 or more home runs.
2-1 Cardinals. Here is Braun with the bases clean and a strike from Westbrook. .331 batting average to start play today. Still behind Jose Reyes in the National League. Reyes is just back from the disabled list. He returned on Monday. He's been tracking that batting race as Braun bangs one through the middle, a base hit.
Well, they say you get sinker ballers before they settle in, before they start to feel comfortable out there on the mound. Right now, Westbrook getting his pitches up in his zone. The Brewers hitting him pretty hard. Check out the location of the fastball. Up around the belt and pretty straight. But he did get the ground ball. Not too many get more ground balls than Jake Westbrook. Brony up out on top of it, but able to hit it hard into center field.
And now Prince Fielder. Reggie Miller in attendance here tonight. There's Reggie as a guest of Ryan Braun. They are neighbors in Los Angeles. I guess Reggie's got nothing going on right now.
Not much happening basketball wise, right? Let's take a trip from LA to Milwaukee and catch a game and fly right back.
Yeah, he's got his UCLA hat on. Played his college hoops at UCLA. Great Indiana Pacer. Now on TNT as an NBA analyst, and he and Braun are very good friends, and he just wanted to come to Milwaukee to see the Braun and Fielder show. Braun takes off. Fielder takes a strike, and Molina doesn't even bother with a throw. A steal for Ryan Braun. That's his 31st of the season. He's only been caught 4 times this year.
And talk about sending a message to your pitcher, huh? I mean, Molina never even got out of the crouch. Saying to his pitcher, if you're not going to give me a chance, I'm not even going to try. Help me out a little bit.
Is that the catcher's code? I didn't realize that.
Oh, yeah.
It's nice.
Yep.
Coming from a former big league catcher, Bill Schroeder. Fielder gets sawed off. That's going to be a tough play. Back is for Cole, and he makes the catch. My goodness. What a play that was. Rafael for Cole.
Yeah, not many do it better than he does when you go out into the short part of the outfield and going back for a baseball. The outfield very deep. Not much speed at all in that outfield for the Cardinals. And Craig, no way he was going to get there. And what a play by Furcal with his back to the infield.
Making an early impact on this game. Furcal homered in the first and makes a stellar defensive play here in the bottom of the first.
And I thought that was a base hit. Good thing Ryan Braun didn't try and score. He went halfway and able to get back. Furcal looking to turn the double play.
So 2 men are out, and here is Casey McGee And Braun now going to be picked off, an inside move, and Ryan is thrown out, a caught stealing. So the inning will end at third base. Well, the Brewers started with a bang here tonight. Corey Hart extending his hitting streak to 13 games. 2-1 Cardinals. We go to the second. Seen 3 home runs, and both leadoff hitters with home runs tonight for Call in the top of the first. His 4th home run of the year, his 3rd against Milwaukee this season. And then Corey Hart has an answer in the bottom of the first. His 5th leadoff home run of the season. Hart number 22, and it's 2-1 St. Louis. Pujols had the other home run. So a wild start to this one. Randy Wolf and Jake Westbrook against 2 very good hitting teams. The Cardinals at the top of the National League in batting average. There's no question the Cardinals match up with anybody in baseball offensively. Interesting that it was a well-pitched game yesterday and a 2-1 final score. It was a close one, and a couple of defensive errors by the Brewers turned into 2 runs. The only 2 runs the Cardinals scored were unearned runs. That would be all they would need. Sean Markham pitched well yesterday, went 7 innings, gave up just 4 hits, no earned runs. But the tough luck loser yesterday. Markham now 11-5.
I'm not sure how many wins the Cardinals have when you have Berkman, Pujols, and Holiday taking over. I don't think they won many games, but that's what happened last night.
Fly ball to right. Molina is retired. Job number 1 of the second.
Hey, don't miss the Miller Lite beer pen. Every Friday night home game at Miller Park, fans 21 and older can get a Miller Lite beer pen right field Lowe's ticket and a free beer pen t-shirt for just $20. Some restrictions apply.
1 gone for the Cardinals' 8th place hitter Ryan Theriot, starting at second base tonight with the left-handed starter on the mound. And a line drive to right. Can Hart cut it off? He can, and that is going to hold Theriot to a single. Nicely done. Ryan Theriot with a 1-out single with the pitcher coming up.
And just slapping that ball in the right field. That's what he does so well. Now, right now, Randy having a tough time locating that fastball, either missing off the corner or getting a little bit too much of the plate with it. And getting a little bit too much of the plate to Theriot. And a nice play by Corey to keep him at first base.
Well, keeping Theriot at first probably means Westbrook is up there to bunt. He shows early. And he bunts it in the air. Kataris cannot get there. Westbrook not much of a hitter. He's just 4 for 41 this year. Hitting under 100 at the plate. Westbrook is a good bunter, though. He has 6 sacrifice bunts this season.
The Cardinals pitcher drove in a run last night on an 0-2 pitch.
Edwin Jackson drove in one of the 2 runs for the Cardinals last night. He and John Jay with the RBIs. Jackson's been good for St. Louis. Won his 4th ball game.
Yeah, he looked good last night, throwing hard, good slider.
Oh, Westbrook did not look good there. He bunts right through it, and it's 0-2 on the Cardinal pitcher. In the National League, when you have a spot like this, you're always worried about the pitcher swinging away, bouncing into a double play. So even with 2 strikes, Westbrook is going to bunt, gets a good bunt down. McGee thought about second. He'll take the out over at first.
Yeah, good decision. He thought about it. Well, Casey crashing in, expecting the bunt, got to it quickly, but Terrio had a good jump off of first base and take the shore out. Job by Westbrook, deadening it in front of home plate, and Casey McGee elects to get the out at first. Good decision. And watch Terrio, not much of a lead, but he's able to get off the mark pretty quickly, and unless that's a sure out, you go to first.
2 gone now. Back to the top of the order. Here is Furcal. Now, Furcal was injured most of the season with the Dodgers. The number's down, but the Cardinals know what kind of player he is. And once they were reassured that he was healthy, and he came back with the Dodgers and he played well. Once they knew that, then they went ahead and made the trade with Los Angeles. They picked up a key piece. At the time, Cardinals were right in the thick of it, of course. As Furcal bounces one to Jerry Hairston. And Randy Wolf puts up a 0 in the second. Brewers coming up. Casey McGee will lead off 2-1 Cardinals. By Fox Sports Wisconsin. 3 lucky fans will win a ticket to the Brewers Phillies game on Thursday, September 8th. A pregame dinner with Bucks play-by-play talent Jim Paschke and a behind-the-scenes tour of the Brewers broadcast. Visit Bucks.com/Fox Sports Wisconsin before September 5th to register. You got to do it by noon. Jake Westbrook back on the mound. Brewers with a run on 2 hits in the first. A Corey Hart home run got things started offensively for Milwaukee. And now Casey McGee, who was at the plate when Braun was caught stealing technically. Westbrook on the inside move. got him to win the inning at third base.
And I don't think Westbrook was thinking about doing that. He just hung that leg up there, saw Braun take off early, and decided to, give the move. The inside move, if you do that, you can't just pick the leg up and go to third base. I mean, he had to step off, which he did, and then throw to third.
Bouncing ball to David Freese, and McGee is retired. Now the Brewers have won 21 of their last 24 home games here, and Milwaukee trying to continue a terrific home stretch. The Brewers have not lost consecutive home games since July 4th and 5th against the Arizona Diamondbacks, and those are the only consecutive losses of the year at Miller Park this season. That's how special of a season it has been in this venue. The Brewers are coming into play tonight 50-17.
Man, there haven't been too many series losses at home this year. It's been an incredible run here at Miller Park. Playing with a lot of confidence, and all of a sudden that success has moved its way into the Brewer road schedule as well. They're playing as well on the road now as they were at home all year.
Brewers have won 10 of their last 13 road games, and a road trip coming up. What's interesting about the Brewers' home record this year, in series play at home, they are 17-4. And of those 17 series wins, 9 of them are sweeps. Got 9 sweeps here at Miller Park, something you rarely see in the big leagues.
And Zach Greinke has not lost a game at Miller Park this year. 10-0.
Ball and 2 strikes on Betancourt, and that one just missed. 2-2 the count.
And he talked to Dale Swain before the game. The importance for the Brewer hitters is getting Westbrook up in the zone until you get 2 strikes. He's got that good sinker, gets a lot of ground ball outs.
Betancourt, a topper to short for Call, winds it up, lets it fly, and it's in time for the out. Close play at first for Call. Is the best player on the field right now in the first 2 innings.
Yeah, moving all around, going into short center field to snag ground fly balls. And check this out. You've got to have a pretty good arm to back up on that ground ball. Most shortstops are going to try and charge that, play it on a short hop. But he's got the big arm to be able to get the out at first base.
Now, there aren't many in the game who can make that play. For Call has made 2 spectacular plays defensively. So 2 men are out on a couple of ground outs, and here's Jerry Hairston. Hairston back in the starting lineup at second base. Was in there last night, had 2 hits last night. He was 2 for 3. And he whistles one into left, a base hit. A 2-out single for Jerry Hairston Jr. and the Brewers with a base runner.
Yeah, that's a cut fastball, cutter / slider. It's kind of a cross between the two, and left that one right down the middle of the plate. And Hairston able to get the big part of the bat on it.
George Kataris with 2 away. Had a homer in his last start against the Chicago Cubs. A rainmaker to right field. George now with 3 home runs for the Brewers this season. At 4 down in AAA. Not playing much. He plays every 5th day when Randy Wolf starts. But occasionally he'll get that start day game after a night game. We saw him one game of the doubleheader. He rips out on the right, a base hit. Hairston on his way to third. So back-to-back hits from the bottom of the lineup.
And that's what George will give you. I mean, he will give you some offense, even though he doesn't play all that much. Talked about that home run in his last start and a base hit in his first time up. Can't tell you how good that feels. Your backup catcher gets in there, first at bat, a base hit. Takes a lot of the pressure off for the rest of the game for him.
Jerry Hairston safe at third, safe and secure. New York Life. So if nothing else, it clears the pitcher spot, but it's not just your typical pitcher at the plate in Randy Wolf, a good hitting pitcher. Wolf is 8 for 49 at the plate this year. That's a 163 average. And of those 8 hits, 3 of them are doubles. And you can tell by the face he takes his hitting very seriously, Randy Wolf.
Especially when there's men in scoring position. That's a run for him.
Wolf does not have an RBI this year, which is a bit surprising. Be a good time for number 1 right here and now. Tying run over at third. We're only in the bottom of the second. It's been a wild start to this one. Each club with 4 hits already. Randy coming off a start against the Chicago Cubs. That was back on Friday night with 6 2/3 in that game. Was 0 for 2 at the plate that night. Did have a sacrifice bunt. 2 balls and a strike. Before every home game, the starting pitchers take batting practice prior to the position players. So they're always out there getting their reps in. Internal competition among those starting pitchers. Wolf able to lay off a sinker from Westbrook, and it's 3-1 now on Randy Wolf.
Yeah, good pitch. I mean, that was a pretty good pitch. A good take by Wolfie. Oh, now Westbrook has to come down the middle to him. And you know he's going to with Corey Hart as hot as he is on deck.
3-1. See what he gives him. A strike on the corner. Oh, it could have gone either way. Randy said, all right, I'll take that pitch.
You're not going to see pitchers argue too much on balls and strikes when they're at the plate.
Only Carlos Zambrano is the one who comes to mind right now.
Hey, but he argues about everything.
Well, this could be a big pitch. It's early in the ball game. He's got Corey Hart on deck. Westbrook knows he has to put something over the plate for Randy Wolf. 1st and 3rd, 2 outs. And a swing and a miss. Wolf strikes out. Westbrook is out of the inning, but the Brewers turn the lineup over. We head to the 3rd, 2-1 Redbirds. Sports Wisconsin is presented by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. By Ho Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. And by Subway. Try our $5 featured footlong of the month. Subway, where winners eat. Beautiful shot of Miller Park on a Wednesday night for baseball. Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder, and we are pleased to be joined by Mark Atanasio. Brewers owner is kind enough to join us here. It's always great to see you, Mark, and give us your thoughts on this run, this incredible August. I guess you had to finally see the Brewers one more time in August, right? The last day.
It's exactly how I felt. We just got back from Italy with the family 2 nights ago, and just wanted to be here tonight.
How is following the team on the other side of the pond in Italy? Is it some early mornings, late nights?
Much to Debbie's chagrin. Actually, Debbie was up watching with me, but the first night we fell asleep. After that, we watched every game.
Got yourself on schedule at that point.
Right.
Well, Randy Wolf back on the mound facing Alan Craig to start the 3rd inning. 2-1 is our score. All 3 of the runs have come via the home run ball.
First of all, Mark, you got to be proud to see what the fans in Milwaukee and Wisconsin have done again. 3 million fans once again this year.
You know, Bill, all over baseball, people are talking about this. And what's interesting is, we've had 3 million fans before, not only in 08, but in 09. But when you're not winning, as we weren't, we didn't win in 09, people kind of forget. And now it's, written everywhere. Gee, the Brewers draw this fans. Well, 3 years out of 4 we've drawn these fans. Right. The fan support, and the reason I'm making that point is that the fan support has been consistent. It's not like these are fair weather fans. These are, real serious baseball fans, and they come out to support their team.
Well, the success of the team has opened up a national spotlight in a lot of areas, not just in television, radio, but certainly print. And I'm anxious to hear your reaction after the SI article came out and 3 of your players on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
That. I just was so proud of that. We haven't, I guess, been on the cover since 1987. And one of the nice things about that cover is it captured the joy our guys have playing baseball.
Alan Craig into right field. This is playable for Hart. And there is the first out of the 3rd inning.
But you and Doug have put together a solid team out here. I mean, the acquisitions in the offseason, you got guys that you picked up at the trading deadline. You got K-Rod. Hairston's been a nice addition. So this is about as good as it gets for this Brewers club. It's a good unit right now.
This is we're a very good baseball team, and I give Doug Melvin and his staff really all the credit for that. My main job is saying yes to the increase in payroll.
Which is a big yes. That's a big yes.
That is a big yes.
Don't minimize that contribution.
They, Doug is relentless in just going through every potential option. And
Albert Pujols in the air. And Hairston's got it for out number 2.
Doug always has not only a plan B, as a plan C. And even today, I got to the park tonight. I called him to check in, and we've got a few hours left. I doubt there's anything we can do at this point, but he was still going through every potential option, what we might be able to do to add to the club, before the September 1st deadline for making roster additions for playoff purposes.
Well, there's Doug Melvin, Brewers general manager, and I would think, you never want to get ahead of yourselves, and I would certainly not put this on Doug, but I don't mind bringing it up to you. You have to think about Doug as executive of the year in Major League Baseball with what he's done.
No, I know we don't want to have another month left, and I think Doug and me and Ron Renicky, also our manager, we're taking it a day at a time, but I was lobbying for Doug with Bob Nightingale down in the clubhouse for executive of the year over Kevin Towers, and good a job as Kevin has done. I think Doug has done more this, and we got more wins, but he's done more this year to make an impact.
I think it could come down to the Arizona-Milwaukee Rock. We're talking about executive of the year, Kevin Towers now in Arizona with the D-backs, but also manager of the year, right? Kirk Gibson, Ron Renicky. For me, those two are at the top of the list right now, and it is going to be interesting. And this month of play will determine what happens on that front. Those are all ancillary awards that come later, and if you take care of business on the field, I guess.
I think, Mark, you'd trade those away for World Series championship.
Holiday rolls one to third. McGee up with it and makes the play for the out.
And now we're trying to win tonight.
More with Mark and Ignacio, and we continue from Miller Park. 2-1. The Cardinals lead it. Brewers come to bat.
On deck, presented by Time Warner Cable, Sunday, January 29th at the Frontier Airlines Center. Purchase by September 28th to get a voucher for a free select Brewers home game. That's next April. Visit brewers.com/on-deck for details.
Always a great kickstart to the year. Mark Ignacio joining us here in the booth once again as we move to the bottom of the third and the top of the order coming up. And Mark, wins and losses aside, potential postseason aside, where are you with where this franchise is right now at this moment, not just in the local picture but in the national picture as well?
Well, you know, it was always my dream to be brand the team more nationally, and so I really love that we're getting the kind of interest we have, and not only on the team but on our great fan base and on our city, and I'm very, very proud of that. And I think the team's in pretty good shape. You know, you talk to Doug Melvin, you talk to Bruce Side. There's a lot of good things going on down in the minor leagues that kind of getting forgotten, both with what we're doing here and a lot of the hype, you know, around some of the other teams and their draft picks. We don't really hype our guys in the minor leagues the way other teams do, and that doesn't make them any lesser. You know, nobody heard of Giovanni Gallardo till he started winning games in Milwaukee.
That's right.
He wasn't a top 50 Baseball America guy. He was a second-round pick. And Doug and Bruce feel very strong about what we have going on down in the minor leagues.
And you made a significant contribution to the draft as well. I think the number was a little over $8 million to sign players out of this year's draft. We just had the two first-rounders up in the booth this homestand, Jed Bradley and Taylor Youngman. So it looks like more reinforcements are coming in. Some pretty talented pitchers, it looks like. Yeah,
both those young guys showed a lot of confidence in the booth here. Right? They weren't shy.
Not at all.
And you know, the direction to Bruce's side was to draft the best available player, and we did. And then he went out and got him signed.
Where do things stand with Latin America and your academy down there? I know you've reached an agreement with Solomon Torres and have a facility down there now that he runs, a former Brewer. It reminds me of the 08 playoff run and his great line. But where are things on the player development side in Latin America, in the Dominican Republic?
I think that facility is going to help us, Brian, because we really had a facility that was, you know, both second rate, if we were going to be honest, and was really inconvenient from the airport, several-hour drive. So now I think this will help us, you know, recruit Latin American players. Some of what's going to happen here, though, is going to depend on what happens with the collective bargaining agreement and whether we have a worldwide draft and how that all, you know, sorts out.
How about a fantasy camp in the Dominican Republic, Rob?
That would be interesting, would it not? Yeah.
The accommodations are a little more comfortable now.
For Call, and that is bobbled by Pujols.
I think he was safe anyway.
Morgan flying down the line for Call with a laser to first base, and safe is the call as Albert Pujols, a former Gold Glove winner, cannot catch that ball and handcuffed him almost.
And it looked as though Jeff Nelson was thinking about ringing him up, but I'll tell you, that would have been close, and it was interesting to see if they give an error, which they do. That's going to be an E3, but I'll tell you, I think Niger might have beat that out.
Yeah, I think
he got him just by an eyelash. Speaking of Niger Morgan, how we said on the Tony Plus T-shirts at the store.
Yeah, they're selling great, and we're going to have those plush rally towels for the Phillies series. The fans should come out and get one of those.
He's been quite the addition, hasn't he? I mean, he has really brought some fun back in that clubhouse. Not that the Brewers never, didn't have fun before, but he's got the enthusiasm of a young kid.
Well, and he backs it up with his play on the field, and a couple of the guys have talked about that. All this, the fun is great if you're performing, and,
right.
and he performs first and has fun second, and that's very important. You've seen all these big series. Niger has stepped up. What do you have? 3 hits last night?
Swinging the bat well. Getting on base.
Thinking Morgan would be on the move here. A pitch out. What was your reaction, Mark, when Doug Melvin came to you with the idea in spring training that you could acquire Niger Morgan? And what is your reaction to your reaction back then?
Yeah, we never knew what we were getting. What I told Doug is we just, we needed to do our diligence. And frankly, one of the guys who spoke up for Niger was John Shelby, our outfield coach.
Braun whistles one left center field. That is going to be over the head of Craig. And here comes Morgan. Braun's got a chance to score here. He's on his way to third. And here he comes. The throw. No throw. Braun falls down. Now a throw. And Braun in a pickle. And he is out. Oh, he had it inside the Parker right in front of him.
He just couldn't keep the balance around third base. It'll be a triple for Brawny.
A standing ovation on his way out. Even Reggie Miller appreciates that. And Braun just smokes one into the gap in left center.
Yeah, down and in. And there's that spot out in center field where you get a little bit too close, that ball's going to roll back into center field. And right around here, Braun loses his stride just a little bit. Had he been able to stay on his feet, that certainly would have been an inside the park home run. Right here, when he hits the bag, he starts to lose it and goes down hard. Good thing he didn't hurt himself.
That's always a concern with Braun. His fielder rolls over one. Out to Terrio to make the play. Well, Mark, we appreciate the inning. You tied it up. Good job. Your streak is intact. Mark Ananasio in the booth as his MVP candidate goes flailing away between third and home.
inning. The first one came off the bat of Rafael Furcal, who led off the game with a home run. And then Albert Pujols would follow up with his 32nd home run of the season. But in the bottom of the first, Corey Hart will follow suit to Rafael Furcal, leading off his ball club with a home run to make it a 2-1 ball game. And in the bottom of the third, Ryan Braun with a chance for an inside the park home run, ends up falling after touching third base, but it was a RBI triple for Ryan Braun to tie things up at 2 apiece. BA.
All right, Telly, thanks, and good to see Braun back out there. A little concern, some anxious moments, wondering if Braun injured himself. The ego maybe slightly bruised, but hopefully the legs are intact. It did not look pretty when he went down, and he has had some leg problems this year. Remember the strain in the upper calf and the lower hamstring that sat him down periodically. Missed 12 games earlier this season, but he seems to be in good spirits and got a great ovation from the crowd and bleachers in left field on his way out. Braun ties it up with a triple. 89 runs batted in. Braun is 2 for 2 against Westbrook. And Randy Wolf hits David Freese.
Yeah, Braun a little bit embarrassed by falling down, but certainly I think everybody, when he hit the ground like that, a number of things could have gone wrong. It's good to see him back out there in left field. He hit hard. Chugging around third base trying for that homer.
And the scene between innings. So it looks like Braun's okay. Well, a man on to start this fourth inning. Randy Wolf hitting David Freese, facing Lance Berkman now. Berkman a strikeout victim in the first inning. First and only strikeout for Randy Wolf here tonight. So the Cardinals get 2 in the first. The Brewers with a home run from Hart in the bottom of the first, and Braun triples in Nyjer Morgan, who reached on an error last inning. One ball, one strike on Berkman. Fouls it out of play. 1-2 the count. Tony La Russa gives Lance Berkman periodic days off. He is very diligent with his playing time, making sure that Berkman gets consistent rest, and normally he gives him off on days when left-handed starters are on the mound for the opposition.
Yep, Yovani Gallardo going for the Cardinals, which is kind of surprising that he maybe would have given him today off, knowing that he's a much better left-handed hitter. But with a 3 o'clock game, you might see him in the lineup anyway. And not a day game, not a night game, one of those tweener games set up by the Brewers this week.
That'll be the finale of the series tomorrow. Yovani Gallardo scheduled to pitch against Brandon Dixon. Conspiracy theorists would say that Chris Carpenter might come back and make that start.
You're convinced of that, aren't you? Huh? You keep bringing that up. Tony La Russa wouldn't do that.
Carpenter's spot in the rotation is due up tomorrow, but I guess we'll just wait and see. I think that got a piece of him. Boy, Berkman hit by a pitch. Yeah, not the kind of start to an inning Wolf was looking for. He has lost command of that cut fastball, and he has hit 2 batters to start this fourth inning. Carsoup.com email the booth question. Diana wants to know, I've seen signs at stadiums that say no pepper allowed. What is pepper, Rock?
That's a game that guys play, players play in the outfield ordinarily, because all over you can't play pepper. It's you throw the ball and the guy just kind of punches it back to the 2 guys that are throwing the baseball. That's called pepper, playing pepper, and grounds crews don't like you doing that between the bases because it tears up the grass. So no pepper, please.
I wonder how many current ball players even know what pepper is. I'm not sure players do that anymore.
Yeah, I don't see it anywhere. Not even in spring training. Pepper was replaced by Flip. Guys would get in the circle with their gloves and they flip the ball back and forth to each other, and
guys started getting injured with Flip and Pepper, and that's pretty much when, aside from tearing up the field, that was the last of that. Randy Wolf in a tough spot here. 2 on with nobody out, and Molina at the plate. He's fallen behind him 2-0. Molina flew out to right his last time up. An excellent double play candidate, but Molina's a good hitter as well.
And he's got the count in his favor. Randy Wolf has to come in on him now.
And a drive into right center. That ball's well hit. Going to be trouble. Corey Hart watches it off the base of the wall. Freese got a late start. Hairston might have a chance here. We got 2 runners at second base. Betancourt on his way to first. Fielder is there, and everybody is back home. There's just nobody covering first base.
No. I'm not sure what David Freese is doing on that. That's just bad base running by David Freese. You hit a ball like that and you end up with a single and no RBIs with a guy at second base. My goodness, you go halfway. Even if Corey catches that baseball on a warning track, you can go back and tag up easily. And you see the expression on Tony La Russa's face, thinking, you got to be kidding, we didn't score a run on that. So a break for Milwaukee.
But the bases are loaded with nobody out, and it's Ryan Theriot. Bouncing ball coming to the plate, got a chance for 2. Kataris cannot get it out of his glove.
Yeah, couldn't get a handle on it. If he got it right away, they might have been able to turn 2.
So the out at home, the first out of the inning, bases still loaded. A big out for Randy Wolf. Now the pitcher coming up, Jake Westbrook, and there is a way out of this inning for Randy Wolf.
You betcha. Well, the key to this for George is he's got a clear home plate. He was really concentrating to get away from home plate so that Freese can't trip him up, and because of that, he lost the handle on the baseball.
Westbrook hits one hard left field. That is a fair ball. And that is a home run for Jake Westbrook. A grand slam home run for the Cardinal pitcher. His first home run of the season. A very light hitting pitcher, Jake Westbrook, finds one to run into. And that is a severe blow in this game. 6-2 St. Louis.
Man, that's a killer right there. You're thinking right then that you can get out of this inning with no damage, and there it is. A cutter, some type of a cut fastball that stayed, got too much of the plate, and he whistled it right down the left field line for a grand slam.
Wow. His first career home run is a grand slam home run. Westbrook spent most of his career in the American League. Very few at-bats until he was sent to the Cardinals. Westbrook had just 4 career extra base hits coming into play tonight, and his first home run is a big one.
Man, we were talking about Randy Wolf and the fact that in 9 starts before tonight had given up only 3 home runs, and that has certainly been a key to his success, one of many.
Betancourt takes care of a call for out number 2.
And 9 starts, 3 home runs. And in 4 innings, 3 home runs tonight. Well, even a pitcher that doesn't hit all that well is very dangerous if you don't make your pitches properly. And Jake Westbrook gives himself a 4-run lead. And Brewers able to peck away, tie it back up, and at the top of the 4th, they take a 4-run lead.
2 hit batters, 2 hits allowed by Wolf in this inning. Alan Craig with 2 away, bases empty. Well, the Brewers certainly have the kind of offense to come back in this game. Got a lot of baseball to play. Brewers already have 5 hits on Westbrook through the first 3 innings. Alan Craig is 0 for 2 against Randy Wolf tonight. A pretty close pitch. A big crowd has gone quiet here at Miller Park after a grand slam by Jake Westbrook. Two and 2 the count. Out in front, that'll be in the seats, a foul ball.
It's one of those changeups that Randy has been throwing a little bit lately. Taking a little bit off of the fastball at 80 miles an hour. Had Craig out in front. You can just see Randy Wolf and his body language just completely dejected by that home run. 63 pitches already for Wolfie in the 4th.
Wolf has given up 3 homers in this game to the Cardinals for Call, Pujols, and Westbrook. Randy had only given up 2 home runs in the month of August until his start here tonight. Swing and a miss. Wolf strikes out Craig, and the side retired, but a big blow by the Cardinal pitcher. A grand slam home run, his first career home run, brings in 4, and at 6-2 we go to the bottom of the 4th.
Foundation has featured the 50-50 raffle for the second season. As of today, our awesome Brewers fans have purchased more than 1 million in tickets during 2011. 50% of the net proceeds support nonprofit organizations that provide quality programming in the areas of health, education, recreation, and basic needs. The other 50% goes home with a lucky fan during each of the 81 home games. Congratulations to the 50-50 sellers and Brewers fans as we partner to positively impact the lives of children and their families in greater Milwaukee. B.A.?
Telly, thanks. Casey McGee on a hop tube for call. And there is the first out. Now we'll see if the Brewers can start the march back into this game down 6-2 as we play in the bottom of the fourth. AT&T trivia tonight. When was the last time the Brewers won at least 20 games in a month? Brewers have a 20-win month of August. A win tonight would secure the most wins in franchise history in the month of August. Brewers are 21-7. Betancourt into center field. John Jay just into the game on the run. And that ball's off the base of the wall. Takes a big bounce. And Betancourt on his way to third. And the throw is cut off. That is a one-out triple for Uni B. There's a start.
I'll tell you, Betancourt centers on that fastball. Another Westbrook fastball that stayed up in the zone. And those are the ones you have to take advantage of. With Westbrook in the mound, he gets so many ground ball outs. And there's that sinker that stayed up. And Betancourt able to hammer it off the wall. Jay got there a little bit too close to it. And that's why Uni's able to get to third base. A nice short stroke. Nice easy swing by Betancourt. And a one-out triple. Brewers offense saying, all right, you want to slug? We'll slug with you tonight.
Third triple of the year for Betancourt. And that snaps an 0 for 23 at the plate for Uni. Runner third with one out. The Brewers must cash in on every opportunity from here on out, down 4 runs. As Hairston takes one down and away. Hairston, a line drive single his last time up. Pulled one into left field for a base hit. Cardinals scored the first 2 runs on solo homers. Brewers got a solo homer from Corey Hart in the first inning, in the bottom of the first, and then the Brewers an unearned run in the third. An RBI triple from Ryan Braun. 2 triples by the crew tonight.
Hits are even. It's a 6-2 game in the 4th inning after a 2-1 victory for the Cardinals last night. It's all about the pitching, right? You know, hot pitchers, guys throwing well, keeping good offenses down.
2 teams combined for 13 hits last night, and already with 12 hits through 3 1/3 at this point.
Renicky perhaps thinking about pinch hitting for Randy Wolf should his spot come up in this inning.
One more base runner in it will, as Hairston, a line drive base hit. A run will score. Betancourt steps on the plate as Jerry Hairston drives in a run with a single. He's 2 for 2 tonight.
And both of his hits have been right on the nose. A slider his first time up into left, and taking a Westbrook sinker right back into center field. Well, check it out. I mean, pretty good movement going down and in, but Hairston able to pull the hands in and rip it into center.
Hairston in his career was hitless against Jake Westbrook, 0 for 8 leading up to this game tonight, and Hairston delivering 2 hits. Sometimes the stats don't always tell the story. Derek Lilliquist, the acting pitching coach of the Cardinals, for a quick trip to the mound. Jake Westbrook. Dave Duncan, their pitching coach, is away from the team personal reasons. His wife has some health problems and a surgery. So Duncan not with the team during this series in Milwaukee. Well, it's 6-3. The Brewers are 3 runs in RBIs from Hart on a homer, Braun, and now Hairston. And here's George Kataris, who singled off Westbrook in the second. Tony La Russa has some early activity in his bullpen. Kyle McClellan has gone back and forth between the bullpen and the starting rotation.
And not often you see activity in both bullpens at the same time. Marco Estrada getting loose and McClellan getting loose. Neither starter very sharp so far tonight.
Randy Wolf is on deck. Back-to-back hits, a triple and a single with a run in. And now Kataris trying to keep it going here in the bottom of the fourth. Swing and a miss. Took a little off, did Westbrook, and it's 1-2.
And a changeup from Westbrook, and he's not going to break that up all that often, but when he does, it's ordinarily to a left-handed batter.
Bouncing ball, Westbrook to second for one for call. The turn in time and a double play. And the side is retired, but the Brewers get a run on a couple of hits. 6-3 St. Louis. We go to the fifth at Miller Park.
So far here tonight, and that brings us to tonight's Tavern of the Game winner, Rod's Place in Blair, Wisconsin. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to an April or May Brewers home game next year. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Now Paul Emick finishes his Badgers position preview series with a look at one of the team's strongest units, the defensive backs, with Wisconsin kicking off its season tomorrow night. Check out his story, FoxSportsWisconsin.com. Cardinals coming up in the fifth. Randy Wolf is back on the mound, and it is Albert Pujols to start it. Pujols, Holiday, and Freese. 6-3 St. Louis, a grand slam home run from Jake Westbrook. Brewers have had a grand slam from a pitcher this year, Sean Markham. Cardinals have actually had a grand slam home run in each of the last 3 seasons, which is surprising. You rarely see that.
Cardinals pitchers, you mean?
Cardinals pitchers, right. Cardinals pitchers have posted grand slams in 3 straight years. Chris Carpenter in 09, Brad Penny last year, and Jake Westbrook here tonight. And that has the Brewers in a big hole here early. Pujols pops it up. This is playable. Fielder coming in. And he's got it for the out. 1 gone. Back to our AT&T trivia. When was the last time the Brewers won at least 20 games in a month? And you have to go back to the last time the Brewers were in the postseason. August of 08. 20 wins, 7 losses. That year, CC Sabathia was 5-0 in the month of August. Sabathia was 5-0 in 6 starts, 3 of those complete games. As Matt Holliday drives one right center, well hit. That one's off the top of the wall. And Holliday into second base with a double.
Yeah, he thought he hit that one out. And just kind of walking to first base. And nearly got thrown out at second. And he put a charge into that one right off the top of the wall out there in right center. On a pitch middle in. And he gives it a ride. Look at the way he pulls the hands in and missed a home run by a foot. And Corey gets it in back in quickly and made it a close play at second.
Well, maybe that is a sign things are turning the Brewers' way here. Milwaukee had a couple of balls off the top of the wall yesterday. Corey Hart and Nigel Morgan. So Holliday with his 34th double, 4th in the league in that category. He's just behind Ryan Braun. Braun has one more double. By the way, speaking of Sabathia in 08, Rock, you might remember that year the Brewers had an 8-game winning streak. They won 8 of their last 9 to end the month. But this was the date that CC Sabathia threw his near no-hitter in Pittsburgh. The no-hitter that wasn't. August 31st of 08. Since we're going down a dark road here.
I remember. Still a good day.
That was a good day. It's a win.
Real good day.
It capped off a terrific month of August. Unfortunately, in 08, the Brewers had a rough September and only a collapse by the New York Mets allowed the Brewers to sneak into the postseason. But what a memory here in Milwaukee. Every win counts. Every month counts. And the Brewers trying to finish off this month of August in a good way. There's a swing and a miss. Tim Cheetah says Freese swings. Unable to check it, and there is a strikeout for Randy Wolf, his 3rd.
They didn't even have to ask for help down to first base. Fastball up and away, and Freese not able to hold up. You see clearly not able to check his swing.
2 men are out. Holliday still at second, and it's Lance Berkman. Bouncer out to Jerry Hairston. And Randy Wolf, who is through 5. A near home run turns into a double. Still 6-3 Cardinals. Well, Randy Wolf on his way out, literally throwing in the hat here tonight. That hat is no good. Too many hits in that hat. So Wolf is out of the game, and here is Taylor Green. Much anticipated major league debut for Taylor Green. Been with the ball club for a few days now, and finally getting an at-bat in the big leagues. There was some talk that Green would hit last night, but Ron Renicky saying after the game he didn't want to put Green up there at that kind of spot for his major league debut with a game on the line. So he gets his chance here tonight against Jake Westbrook.
I would guarantee that Green was looking forward to the opportunity. That's when you want to make your big league debut, when it matters. It always matters, even this at bat, but that would have been an interesting matchup last night.
Taylor Green had a huge year in AAA. He hit .336, 22 homers, 88 runs batted in. 120 games in Nashville. His 22 home runs this season in AAA, a career high. He was the Brewers minor league player of the year in '07. Had a hand injury that set him back a couple of seasons, but now he's back and healthy and in the big leagues. And how about this? Taylor Green has a big league base hit in his first trip to the plate.
Yeah, well done.
And a standing ovation at Miller Park. First hit of his career.
Well, you can't draw it up any better than that. That was a changeup from Westbrook, and he waited back nicely. Boy, he was out in front of everything, but finally had a little bit of a meeting with himself, saying to stay back, and first at bat, first hit.
What a moment for him. You can only imagine what is going through his mind and in his chest. His heart's probably pounding.
I guarantee he won't even remember running to first. I don't think he felt as though his feet hit the ground.
So here's Corey Hart now. Brewers are chipping away at Westbrook. They have 8 hits. Scored 3 runs. Cardinals got a grand slam home run from their pitcher Jake Westbrook. That came in the 4th inning, made it 6-2 St. Louis. Brewers got a run last inning, and a runner on here to start this one. His Hart breaks his bat. He falls out of the box, and this is going to turn into a double play. Nice pick over there by Pujols. So it goes 5-4-3. Wipes out Taylor Green's base hit to start the inning.
And check it out. Yeah, nice changeup. It was supposed to be away, but it was down. And he goes down and gets it. Watch the way he bends those knees, tries to level that bat out, and more importantly, staying back and able to hook it into right field. Good adjustment in the middle of his swing. I'll tell you, it's been an expensive night for the Brewers. They've broken a number of bats tonight. Jake Westbrook with 2 double play balls tonight, 19 for the year. He gets a lot of ground ball outs. And didn't even mess up his hair.
The Canadian Taylor Green, Badger Morgan on a hop to for call, and out at first to end it. So Westbrook is through 5. Taylor Green has a major league hit. seeing some things tonight that you're not expecting to see it. It starts with a leadoff homer from Rafael Furcal, just his 4th home run of the year. And then for only the 2nd time in the big leagues this season, both leadoff hitters with home runs, as Corey Hart homered in the bottom of the 1st. Ryan Braun had a chance at an inside the park home run. The piano jumping on his back, and he falls down. He ends up with a triple and an RBI, but was put out. And then Jake Westbrook, this is the big blow in the game. A grand slam home run by the Cardinal pitcher, his 1st career home run. Taylor Green finally gets a big league at bat, and he delivers with his 1st major league hit. Congratulations all the way around for Taylor Green. So that's where we sit. We've had a game's worth of activity, and we're only through 5. And it's going to be Marco Estrada now. Saw Estrada in last night's game. He won a scoreless inning. It got a little hairy for him. He loaded the bases before finally retiring Ryan Theriot to end the inning.
It was his first appearance out of the bullpen since making 3 starts for Chris Narveson while he was on a disabled list, and did a nice job going 2-1 with a 159 earned run average in those 3 starts, and looking perhaps to eat up a couple of innings for Ron Renicky. Back-to-back outings for Marco.
Estrada will have the bottom of the order coming up. Yadier Molina will lead off, then Theriot, and then the pitcher's spot, and we'll see if Westbrook is headed back out. Westbrook's given up 8 hits to the Brewers offensively, but only 3 runs, and has a couple of double play balls turned behind him.
And a ton of broken bats tonight.
Cardinals won last night. Brewers started with a 10.5 game lead, and it is now at 9.5, and St. Louis knows in order to get back in the race, they're probably going to have to sweep the Brewers in the final 5 games, or at least come close. But still a lot of baseball to be played, and it is a long shot. But Cardinals also are keeping an eye on the Atlanta Braves as well. They're not dead in the wild card race either. And Atlanta's got some problems with their starting pitching.
Braves won tonight, though. Craig Kimbrell with another save.
That would be his league leading 41st. Perhaps John Axford can get a shot to tie him tonight. 2 skippers, La Russa and Renicky. Molina back up the middle, a base hit.
And Molina got things started against Marco last night in the 9th inning.
Well, tonight at 10:30, Fox Sports Prep Zone is your behind-the-scenes look at prep sports. And you see on this week's show, you get a preview of the Prep Zone matchups. To catch up with the Pacelli head coach. He's been coaching high school football for 50 years. And you hear from the new head football coach of Arrowhead High School, Greg Mallon. Theriot jumps out of the way, trying to get a bunt down.
And it looks like Corey Patterson on deck for the Cardinals. That's going to be it for Westbrook, which is why the number 8 hitter is trying to drop down a bunt here.
That was square, and another one high and tight.
That's a breaking ball that time.
2-0 to Theriot.
The Brewer pitchers have been behind Cardinal hitters all night. Well, a 2-0 count, you never know. La Russa might let him hit away.
He squares, gets it down. It's a good bunt. And Estrada is only play at first base. A sacrifice bunt for Ryan Theriot. Molina now in scoring position. And it looks like La Russa's going to the bench. Estrada did a nice job filling in for the injured Chris Narveson. Made 3 starts. Pitched very well. Got to be a bit of an adjustment going from the bullpen to the starting rotation and then back to the bullpen so quickly.
I was able to get the first 2 outs in the 9th inning very quickly. Then a couple of hits and a walk, and all of a sudden he found himself with the bases loaded and 2 outs, but was able to get out of it. You know, that bunt by Theriot with a 3-run lead tells you what Tony La Russa thinks of that Brewers offense. He doesn't feel as though he has enough. So at the bottom of the order, advancing Molina to second base, trying to pick up another run.
Corey Patterson off the bench. Another former Cub in this Cardinal lineup. Patterson was a Brewer briefly a couple of years ago, back in '09. Top of the order coming up next for call in the on-deck circle. A very speedy Corey Patterson at the plate. And there's a strike from Estrada. Marco made 3 starts. Went 2-1 in his turn in the rotation, filling in for Narveson. Had a 1.59 ERA. Marco gave up just 3 earned runs in 17 innings in those 3 starts. Swing and a miss. And Rock, I think more than anything else, that performance by Estrada filling in for Narveson, holding serve, not just holding serve, but excelling in that role, has earned him some late inning opportunities with the Brewers. Some more crucial innings for Ron Roenicke.
You've got De La Cruz, you've got Marco, who Ron Roenicke likes to use when the Brewers are down in games. He's got that certain group of relievers that he tries to use only when the Brewers have a lead. Talking about Saito and Hawkins, Cameron Lowe. And both De La Cruz and Estrada both can eat up innings for him.
Cameron Lowe doing a little stretching. Or talking to the wall, I'm not sure which.
It's kind of the way I stretch. Not a lot of movement going on.
There's a base hit, and that's going to bring a run in. Corey Patterson with an extra base hit. Corey Hart pulls it out of the corner. Molina scores, and the Cardinals add to their lead. 7-4 St. Louis. Check it, 7-3 St. Louis.
They'll continue to fall behind in the count, and you know, hitters are going to get pretty good swings. 2-1, and that looked like a changeup that stayed out over the plate. Patterson doing a nice job waiting back on it and ripping it down the line, but you got to get ahead. Got to get ahead in the count.
It's the first pinch hit of the year for Patterson. He's now 1 for 11. For call down the left field line, and that one's in the seats. Cardinals have added to their lead here in the 6th inning. 7-3 St. Louis. Runner at second with 1 out. For call takes one upstairs. It's been an injury-filled season for Call. The fractured thumb injury as a Dodger. Also had an oblique injury as a Dodger. Patterson takes off, and a little flare. That's going to fall. A base hit. And another run will score. And now the Cardinals starting to open it up a little bit. 8-3 St. Louis.
for Call doing a nice job at the top of the order with a couple of RBIs. Didn't hit it all that well, but watch the way he pulls the hands in and just able to fight it off into center field. He's stealing. He was taken off. Not sure where the ball was. He was thinking he was going to steal third base. Third base coach Okendo told him, keep going. That's a base hit. The secret weapon, Jose Okendo.
John Jay batting for the first time. 2 runs are in for the Cardinals, and Estrada scuffling on the mound here. He's given up 2 hits, the only out, a sacrifice bunt. I beg your pardon, 3 hits. Molina a single, Patterson a double, and now for Call with a single. Jay came in as a defensive replacement last inning for Alan Craig. Cardinals traded away Colby Rasmus, who looked like he was going to be the center fielder of the future for the Cardinals. Rasmus was the key figure in that trade with the Blue Jays that landed St. Louis Zepchinski and Dotel and last night's starter Edwin Jackson.
Yeah, there was nothing wrong with their offense. The Cardinals felt as though Rasmus was expendable. Did some pitching. Jackson's been a nice addition, and the Cardinals needed big help in their bullpen.
There's a strike called on the outside corner. Down goes John Jay. First strikeout. Estrada with 2 gone now. And here comes Albert Pujols.
Catch all the action of the 2011 Major League Baseball postseason on Fox and TBS. It all begins September 30th with a division series on TBS.
Pujols takes a strike from Estrada. A lot of baseball going on in the major leagues here tonight. Some finals rolling in. As Rock mentioned, the Braves have beaten the Nationals. Derek Lowe picked up the win as Pujols bounces one to Betancourt. Throw to second, and out is the call. Close play at second base. Estrada is out of the inning, but the Cardinals get 2 runs on 3 hits, and it's now 8-3 St. Louis. The Wisconsin Lottery reminding you to please play responsibly. by AirTran. Go, there's nothing stopping you. And by the Miller Lite Vortex bottle. Taste greatness. Roof is open tonight at Miller Park. The Brewers and the Cardinals. Game 2 of the series. It was a tight one last night. A 2-1 St. Louis win, but the Cardinals, they have brought out the heavy lumber this evening. 8-3 is the lead for St. Louis. Kyle McClellan is the new pitcher. Jake Westbrook in line for the win, and the run support continues for Jake Westbrook, and he provided most of it here tonight.
Yep, over 5 runs per game when he's on the mound. He provided 4 of them himself, and Corey Patterson in the revolving door in center field. He takes over in center.
So it's Kyle McClellan. Ryan Braun will lead off. Braun, Fielder, and McGee coming up here in the 6th.
And McClellan in his 31st appearance, 17 of them starts. He was pretty good, particularly early in the year. He's 10-6 with a 394 in run average. Got off to a tremendous start in that rotation for the Cardinals.
Braun with 2 hits tonight, and Ryan's updated batting average is .334. 1 percentage point behind Jose Reyes.
Yeah, Reyes started the day at .335.
Reyes and the Mets are in progress against the Florida Marlins at home. And Reyes has 2 hits tonight. He's 2 for 4, and his batting average at .336 currently. Mets lead that game 3-2. And it looks like Reyes' night at the plate is over. If it stays that way, they go to the top of the 9th inning. The Mets in the lead. It's going to be a fun race to follow the rest of the year. Ryan Braun trying to pick up the first batting title in franchise history. Chris Narveson preparing for some bullpen work. Braun with a single and a stolen base in the first inning. He was caught stealing 2 in the inning, and then had a triple and an RBI in the 3rd. Been a rough night for the Brewers tonight. They've had their moments. They have 8 hits in this game, but Westbrook able to get 2 double plays out of it. Westbrook gave up 3 runs, only 2 earned.
Yeah, a lot of ground ball outs, a ton of them, a couple of double plays, as you mentioned, a number of ground ball outs, a number of broken bats.
And Braun, a swing and a miss. Down he goes on strikes. Now the Brewers today announced details for a postseason single game ticketing opportunity that will give fans an opportunity to register for the right to purchase tickets to potential individual postseason games held at Miller Park. Registration will begin at noon Wednesday, September 7th, and will close at noon Wednesday, September 21st. There is no charge to register for this opportunity, and additional rules and information are available at Brewers.com. Prince Fielder with 1 away. Saw the Atlanta Braves just made a trade. Final day you can make trades to have players postseason eligible. Atlanta picking up Jack Wilson from the Seattle Mariners. Terrific middle infielder.
A Brewer nemesis throughout the years.
Braves got a win tonight from Derek Lowe. Beat John Lannon. Derek Lowe hit a home run in that game. And a 3-1 Atlanta win. Atlanta to 80 wins now. They're 80-55. Braves are in 2nd place in their division. If the playoffs began today, there would be a Brewers Braves LDS as Fielder slaps one to the opposite field, a base hit.
That's what you like to see from Prince. The last couple of days, maybe rolling over on baseballs, trying to pull them. Waited back nicely and bangs one into left center. Staying back on a high fastball out away from him. And with the shift, a base hit to left.
A man on with one away for McGee. Casey is 0 for 2, a couple of groundouts. Look at that National League wild card race. Atlanta is 8.5 games ahead of the Cardinals. So St. Louis 9.5 back of the Brewers in the division race, 8.5 back in the wild card race. Braves have a tough schedule. A lot of teams in the East do. The Phillies, they are without an off day the rest of the year. The Phillies, 85 wins, just 46 losses. Philadelphia is leading right now over the Reds as McGee sends one out to center field for the second out. Phillies are getting a shutout from Cliff Lee tonight. 3-0 over the Reds. That game's going to the bottom of the ninth. How good has Cliff Lee been in the month of August?
Unbelievable, huh? Every time out has a chance to not only finish the game, but shut him out. He's been something else. As good as that starting rotation is for the Phillies, coming into tonight's game, the Brewers have starting pitchers have one less win than the Phillies rotation. Brewers starters have 62 wins, the Phillies 63.
And each with 34 losses. Many talking about the Philadelphia Phillies starting rotation is perhaps one of the best of all time when the season started. Had a chance to be. There's certainly a lot of hardware in that starting rotation. Cy Young Award winners, postseason MVP winners. Betancourt into right center, and Patterson will watch that bounce in front of him. He was so deep he couldn't make a play on it. And Fielder must have lost track of the outs and only ends up at second base. It's another hit for Uni. That is his second hit of the night.
Yeah, Patterson playing deep out there. That one off the end of the bat. So Betancourt staying back into the baseball well his last two times up. And let's check out Prince. Prince running all the way, but just figured he wasn't going to be able to make it into third base. Last thing you want to do is be making outs on the bases down by 5 runs.
So Fielder at second, Betancourt at first, and now Jerry Hairston a chance to drive in a run. He's had a good night tonight. 2 for 2 with an RBI. Hairston had a RBI single in the 4th inning, driving in the 3rd Brewers run. Diamondbacks are off to another fast start tonight. They scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 1st against the Rockies. 3-0 as they go to the 2nd. And Hairston called for a swinging strike by Jeff Nelson, the first base umpire. And it's 0-2 on Jerry Hairston. Arizona's won 8 straight games. And they've opened up a 6-game lead over the Giants.
Yeah, who would have thought, right? Entering the season and spring training. I would have gave the Rockies much of a, or I should say the Diamondbacks much of a chance. So much for that, right?
A swing and a miss. Hairston gone on strikes, and the inning is over. The Brewers strand 2. 8-3 Cardinals. We go to the 7th.
They banged by both leadoff hitters, starting with Rafael Furcal, getting his ball club on the board first with a 1-0 lead. But in the bottom of the first, Corey Hart with a leadoff home run, his 5th leadoff home run of the season. But the big blow comes in the top of the 4th. Jake Westbrook, bases loaded. He hits his first home run, which was a grand slam to make it a 6-2 game. The Brewers cut the lead within 3, but the Cardinals have extended their lead back up to 5, and it's an 8-3 ball game in the top of the 7th. BA.
All right, Telly, thanks. And a reminder that on Saturday, September 3rd, college football comes to FX, beginning in Norman, Oklahoma, where the #1 ranked Sooners host the upset-minded in-state rival Tulsa Golden Hurricanes. The FX College Football Game of the Week, presented by Russell Athletic, begins Saturday, September 3rd, 7 Central, in high definition only on FX. And be sure to go to foxsports.com to check out Charles Davis's preseason power rankings. And September 3rd will be the day Chris Narveson returns to the starting rotation. But in the meantime, he'll get a little work out of the bullpen here tonight against St. Louis.
Well, it's been since the first game of the doubleheader at Pittsburgh that Narveson's been out on the mound. And 5 1/3, did not allow a run. 5 base hits. He was on the DL with a lacerated left thumb. He also, in that game, pulled a fingernail off the finger. So he's had some finger problems lately.
Yeah, 2 of his 5 digits in question, but he's got it all worked out now. Narveson is continuing to take batting practice with the starting pitchers. He's basically stayed in the starting pitcher wheel. Not a chance to get an inning or 2 in here tonight, leading up to his start against the Astros on Saturday. The cue ball out to second base. Hairston makes a play. Holiday retired. That ball had some English on it. And 1 away here in the 7th. A little cue shot right off the end of the bat, it looked like, from Holiday.
They're pulling the string on him, and Matt Holiday, a pretty good off-speed hitter, is not able to wait back.
Well, Renicky has been anxious to use Narveson out of the bullpen, and for his first outing out of the bullpen, Renicky has been holding off for a spot like this when he could start an inning with nobody on base. There was some talk last night as Freese rolls one to Hairston, and there is out number 2. You might remember Narveson was up last night, had some left-handers coming up, but Rock, maybe you could explain it better, but I guess Narveson, he doesn't get ready as fast as a reliever would at this point. It's different from what he normally does.
Starting pitchers take a lot longer to get loose than do relievers. Relievers have a routine. They have a routine before the game. They'll do some long tossing and get a little bit lubed up.
I suppose there is some management of being in the bullpen for a starting pitcher like Narveson. There has to be some peculiar moments for a manager and a bench coach as well, when to get those guys up and how to prepare them for a game if you're looking ahead at the lineup. Things kind of unraveled quickly for Estrada last night, so there was no time to get Narveson in the game.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was right-handed bat. Schumacher and Furcal made outs quickly, and then Molina got a base hit, and that's when you thought that maybe Narveson would come into the ball game. Descalso was coming up, followed by John Jay, both left-handed batters. But as you mentioned, Ron Renicky elected to keep Estrada in there. Did not want to throw Narveson in the fire like that his first time out of the bullpen.
Well, it's a big test, and I think the scenario would have been a lot different had it been a different situation in the season. The Brewers do have some flexibility with their division lead to find out what you have, and I think Ron Renicky and Rick Kranitz want to find out what they have in Narveson as a reliever. Did make 9 relief appearances last year, but he was much better as a starter.
And again, you want to find out what you have, but you still have to win games, and I think that that was foremost on Ron Renicky's mind last night. Haven't won a division yet. They've got a nice lead, but you still have to keep winning.
You can see a scenario moving forward. The Brewers do finish off the division, move into the postseason. You don't need 5 starters, so the way the starting pitchers are going right now, you figured Narveson would be headed to the bullpen. A lot can happen in a month. Narveson misses a little bit low. Berkman draws a walk. A 2-out walk. Yadier Molina, who is 2 for 3 tonight. Couple of singles. He has scored twice. Narveson has made one relief appearance this year. That was early in the season in April against the Cubs. He went 2 innings, gave up 3 runs against Chicago. Last year as a reliever had an ERA over 7. So Molina lifts one to left. Ryan Braun's got a long way to go, and Braun runs it down. What a catch! So fast, covering a lot of ground, and Molina robbed of an extra base hit. Outstanding play by Ryan Braun, who has done a lot of running here tonight. Beautiful catch.
The case tonight as they go to bat in the bottom of the 7th inning, and Davey, Randy Wolf uncharacteristic tonight, giving up the 3 home runs. That's kind of the storyline, really.
Well, that's right, and he's been so good and not giving up the home runs over his last few starts. But what has happened, you know, previously against his starts against the Cardinals, he had great command and of all of his pitches. Today, his command was not very good and keeping the ball up and got hit.
So the Brewers in a hole right now as George Guitar is set to lead off, and we'll cover it all for you. Brewers Live postgame on the way. Brewers trying to avoid a 2-game losing streak at home for only the 2nd time all season long. Only 2 other clubs since 1900 have had 2-game losing streaks just 1 time all season long at home. So they're an impressive company once again. Brian?
Yeah, it was the Diamondbacks who beat them back-to-back July 4th and 5th. Earlier this year, the only time the Brewers have lost consecutive games at Miller Park this season. (8-3) St. Louis. McClellan back on the mound. You saw Descalso in the game at third base as George Gutaris leads off. Frankie De La Cruz looks like he'll have the 8th. Narveson a scoreless 7th. Looked good. Pataris a bouncer to Pujols. And there is the first out. Giants got a shutout tonight. San Francisco shut out the Cubs 4-0 on a 2-hitter. Madison Bumgarner. Pablo Sandoval hit one into the bay. Jeff Keppinger had a home run as well for the Giants. Giants had 4 runs on 12 hits. That is a club that has lost in its offense. And they're hoping that the Arizona Diamondbacks will cool off a little bit. Giants are 6 back. Diamondbacks got off to a fast start tonight, scoring 3 runs in the first inning.
The Giants cut a couple of players loose today, did they not?
Yeah,
Aaron Rowan and Miguel Tejada
designated him for assignment.
Yeah.
Saw the Texas Rangers made a couple of trades as well. They brought in Matt Trainer. They brought him back. Trainer was with them last year, remember, had a terrific season for him after the Brewers traded Trainer to the Rangers. Mike Gonzalez going to the Rangers as well. Texas being shut out by the Tampa Bay Rays tonight. It's 4-0. James Shields pitching a beauty against Texas in Arlington. Counsell off the bench. One gone here in the bottom of the 7th. Counsell lifts one in the air, shallow center. There's out number 2. Closest division race, the Red Sox and the Yankees, separated by just a half a game. They're in play tonight as well. The Red Sox have a 7-5 lead. That's been a wild game at Fenway Park. Jacoby Ellsbury hit his 24th home run. David Ortiz, number 28. Ellsbury's having a great year. Never imagined Ellsbury as a guy to hit 30 homers in a season, but he has a chance to do that with a big finish. And it's not exactly like he's taking advantage of the pesky pole every time up either. He's got some pop.
That's right. It's a pretty good hitting lineup, that Red Sox lineup. The Yankees. A-Rod on the shelf for a few days.
Corey Hart into center field. Routine for Patterson. And it's a 1-2-3 inning in the 7th. The Brewers go quietly. We go to the 8th. 8-3 Cardinals. What's on tap for tomorrow? The Brewers and the Cardinals. A reminder, we're on the air at 2:30. First pitch at 3:10 here at Miller Park tomorrow. An unusual start time. Giovanni Gallardo against Brandon Dixon. He's making his first start against the Brewers. Cardinals had him up earlier in the year. He actually pitched pretty well for him, so they brought him back up. And instead of bringing Chris Carpenter back on his regular rest, they're going to go with Dixon, according to this piece of paper. Gallardo trying to post his 16th win of the year. Brewers will head to Houston beginning Friday, a 3-game series in Houston. Then it's another matchup against the Cardinals next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And that's it for the season series with St. Louis. Frankie De La Cruz is on to work. We've seen Estrada and Narveson, and now De La Cruz gets his chance against the Redbirds.
It's been a while for De La Cruz. August 22nd in game 2 of the doubleheader. Inning in 2/3, gave up a couple of runs. Brought up on August 11th from AAA Nashville. He was a starting pitcher down there. Did you see that Cliff Lee did not get his complete game tonight?
How did it end up, Rock?
8 2/3. They did win the game 3-0. And for the month of August, Cliff Lee 5-0 with a .45 earned run average.
Man.
Now he was 5-0 in the month of June with a .21 earned run average.
So he slipped a little.
The only two other major leaguers ever to have ERAs like that and be 5-0 in 2 separate months, Bob Gibson and Walter Johnson.
Oh.
How about that company?
Breaking a Walter Johnson out. The big train.
1968 for Gibson, obviously. Walter Johnson, 1913.
It's an impressive company.
Yeah.
Hall of Famers both. Nigel Morgan coming in to make the catch. Terrio is retired. Speaking of Walter Johnson, our Ho Chunk Gaming text question has nothing to do with Walter Johnson, but it does have something to do with Carlos Gomez and Ricky Weeks. John wants to know when we can see him back in a Brewers uniform. Gomez is here and his minor league rehab is over.
Yeah, he'll be back tomorrow.
He's back on the active roster tomorrow. He played in 4 games down with the T-Rats, with the Timber Rattlers.
Yep, rosters expand tomorrow. You can have 40 guys on your active roster. The Brewers aren't going to do that. We'll see who they bring up. Yeah, Ricky Weeks is going to probably be another couple of weeks.
Gomez out since the first road trip of the second half. He was injured in Arizona. A fractured clavicle, collarbone injury. But it's going to be about a month for Carlos Gomez. A little over a month, but a little bit ahead of pace as well. Ricky Weeks, it's probably going to be more like 6 to 7 weeks as opposed to 4 to 5 for Ricky, who rolled his ankle a little over a month ago against the Chicago Cubs. Severe sprain of the ankle. Those will be a couple of nice acquisitions for the Brewers to make coming off their disabled list. You figure Gomez will go right back into the platoon in center field. Fielder to the bag for out number 2. That's what's been so impressive about this run in the month of August for Milwaukee. Doing it without their all-star second baseman and without their best defensive outfielder, Carlos Gomez and Ricky Weeks.
But the one thing that has remained constant for Milwaukee has been their pitching, right? That's been the difference this year, the starting rotation and the bullpen. Things might have been different had maybe a starter and a reliever been hurt, a guy, a key component. When you have that continuity in your rotation and the back end of your bullpen is healthy and intact, you're going to be all right.
Well, Furcal started this one with a bang tonight. Had a home run in the first inning. 2 hits for Furcal tonight. 2 runs batted in. Mark Atanasio has enjoyed this club success this month. Not a good night tonight so far.
Another loss. Mark might head back to Italy and watch games.
That's right. Brewers did a lot of winning while he was overseas.
He's pretty superstitious.
Frankie De La Cruz, 2-2 on Furcal. Betancourt with the play, and the side is retired. 3 up, 3 down. Nice inning for Frankie De La Cruz as the sun sets over Miller Park. Beautiful shot. What a great ballpark it is. I've seen a ton of grand slams that have all involved these 4 pitchers. Carpenter, Brad Penny. Carpenter in 09, Brad Penny last year, earlier this year, Sean Markham. And then earlier tonight, Jake Westbrook. So the last 4 grand slams in the major leagues have happened with these 2 teams, 3 Cardinals and 1 Brewer. And unfortunately tonight, Westbrook's was the big blow in this game, part of a 4-run 4th inning. And it is 8-3, and you see the last 4 grand slams. Jake Westbrook's first career home run, as it was for Sean Markham. And now we'll see if the Brewers can fight their way back. In a deep hole here, down 5 runs, got 6 outs to work with.
And with all the home runs that the Brewers have hit, that Markham grand slam, the only one this year. Cardinals now have 3.
Mark Zepchinski is on the pitch for St. Louis, facing Nigel Morgan, Ryan Braun, and Prince Fielder. Niger is 0 for 3 tonight. Scored a run in the 3rd inning. He reached on an error. Got another right-handed starter on the mound tomorrow and for the next 3 days. So Morgan figures to get a lot of playing time over the next 3 games. Brewers will not see a left-handed starter until Wandy Rodriguez for the Astros on Sunday. Rodriguez is on a roll right now for Houston. He picked up another win his last time out. He's now 10-9. He'll match up against Sean Markham Sunday. In the Astros series, the Brewers will have Greinke, Narveson, and Markham, with Gallardo going tomorrow in the finale of this series with the Cardinals. Two and two to Nyjer Morgan. A tough left-hander on the mound, Mark Zepchinski. Morgan, a little flare for Call, is back, and he's got it for the out. One gone for Ryan Braun. He's had an eventful night, both at the plate, on the bases, and also defensively. At the plate, presented by Wendy's. Braun with a single in the first. He tripled in a run in the third inning. Had a chance to score, had a chance at an inside the park home run, but he tripped and fell between third and home and was tagged out. His buddy Reggie Miller has been watching this one closely tonight. He'll be here again tomorrow.
I think Reggie is going to let him hear about that after the game.
This was in the third inning. Braun ripped one into left center field, and it hit the angled wall in center field and bounced all the way to the middle of that wall. And Braun actually had a pretty easy time of it to score, but he got his footwork a little messed up around third, and he was put out. For Call, spins, fires in time. Nice play. Call's had a great game tonight.
Yes, he has. He always seems to have a good game against Milwaukee. That arm is as good as it gets out there at shortstop. Good range. He can go in the hole behind third base very well, up the middle, and very accurate for a guy that has an arm as strong as he does. And getting back to Ryan Braun, I mean, that play that he made down the line, I mean, he goes to the line extremely well, making plays in left field. He got there quickly, and he robbed Yadier Molina of extra bases. Goes down the line for baseballs much better than he does going into the gap in left center. Most outfielders are like that. They're going to have one side that they go to better than the other. And for Ryan Braun, it's going to the line.
That catch was in the seventh inning. It saved a run for Narveson in the seventh. Fielder takes a strike against the lefty. Well, Prince hoping to get his bat going here. A bit of a struggle on this homestand. Fielder does have a hit tonight. He singled his last time up, 1 for 3. Prince just 3 hits on the homestand. He's 3 for 17 at the plate. Does have a homer, though. This homestand started with a sweep of the Cubs. The Brewers won all 3 against Chicago. Pushed that lead in the Central Division to 10.5. In danger of dropping the first 2 to the Cardinals here. As Zepchinski strikes out Fielder. 1-2-3 inning. We go to the ninth. Cardinals coming up. They lead 8-3. on defense. We talked about it last inning. Ryan Braun's catch in the 7th inning. What a catch it was, going down the line, saving a run, ending an inning.
Yeah, just outrunning that baseball as it gets down the line. If that ball is, falls out of his reach, it's going to be maybe a double or a triple. And Ryan Braun, a foul ball, wasn't an out, but made a young lady very happy in the stands out there and dapped her up. Now, can Ryan Braun dap up somebody, or is that just Niger?
Sure. The bigger story is that you use the word dap.
It was a little birdie in my ear told me to use that word. That's not in my vocabulary.
That's in the plush-cabulary. Everybody's on board. Even the old schooler Bill Schroeder. Skip Schumacher batting for the first time. He flies out to left field. De La Cruz trying to finish this one up for Milwaukee. Haven't seen many of these games this year for the Brewers, at least in the second half.
And not at home.
Gallardo tomorrow. As the Brewers, barring a major comeback, will try to salvage the final game of the series. Pujols now against De La Cruz. Pujols homered in the first off Randy Wolf. Wolf had a rough night tonight. 6 earned runs in 5 innings. His rough nights have been few and far between this season.
Man, it was just about every one of his pitches. He really didn't have much command of his fastball. He was falling behind, wasn't able to, go to that slow curve that he has been throwing very well. It's just one of those nights. It happens. I mean, nobody can go out there every night and dominate. And before tonight, 6 starts, Randy Wolf was just about unhittable.
Albert with his 32nd home run of the year in the first. He's going to have a huge month of September to get to 100 RBIs. He's never had a season in the big leagues. Fewer than 30 homers, fewer than 100 ribbies. So it is news for Pujols as he sends this one in the air to Morgan. Out number 2. Frankie De La Cruz. The Frankie comes from the fact that his real name is Eulogio, and nobody could say it. So he just made up a name. He said, just call me Frankie. Frankie's fine. That was while a member of the Tigers.
And we're all glad he did.
His first name, his real name, is spelled Eulogio.
Now you know that off the top of your head?
Mm-hmm. Remember in spring training we were calling him Eulogio.
I wasn't.
You were calling him De La Cruz.
Right.
Holiday into center field. Morgan got a long way to go, makes a catch. And Frankie De La Cruz does a nice job tonight, picking up the final 2 innings. Retired 6 in a row. Last call for the Brew Crew. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning, down 5 runs to the Cardinals. 8-3 St. Louis. And it's going to be Jason Mott out of the Cardinal bullpen.
He's just about his best reliever in a 5-run lead in the 9th inning. Tony La Russa not taking any chances against this Brewer offense. Look at the numbers for Mott. Appeared in last night's ball game. 64th appearance as Skip Schumacher takes over in right field.
Well, if you're wondering, the most runs the Brewers have scored in an inning this year, 7. They did that on the last road trip against Pittsburgh. It would take one of those innings. 8-3 Cardinals, bottom of the 9th inning. McGee leads off. Just about everything final in the National League now. The Dodgers beat the Padres. Ted Lilly picked up the win. Giants shut out the Cubs 4-0. San Francisco finally putting one in the win column as McGee into right center field. Schumacher just into the game, runs it down for the out. Mets beat the Marlins 3-2 tonight. And we talked about that shutout. Cliff Lee, a near complete game, pitches into the 9th. Ryan Matson comes on to save it for Lee. A 3-0 final score, combined shutout, a 6-hitter for the Phillies. Lee is now 15-7 and a .259 earned run average, and will most likely be the pitcher of the month for the 2nd consecutive month in the National League. Braves beat the Nationals. Atlanta 3-1 over Washington tonight. Astros shut out the Pirates 2-0 the final. Houston has beaten Pittsburgh twice. Betancourt up the middle. This is for Call. And dug out by Pujols. Nice play. 2 outs. Well, Jake Westbrook is our Menards player of the game tonight. He didn't have his best stuff on the mound. He did go 5 innings. Gave up a couple of earned runs, but his bat was the story. A grand slam homer in the 4th inning made it a 6-2 Cardinal lead. They would never look back.
Never was able to retire the side in order, but as has been the case just about all year, he gets a lot of runs in support when he's out there on the mound, and 8 runs tonight.
Jerry Hairston Jr. with 2 away in the 9th. The Brewers have not lost a series since a series loss in San Francisco. That was July 22nd through the 24th. It'll be a series win for the Cardinals with 1 more out here tonight.
Well, I really don't think anybody thought that the Brewers were going to be able to, clear the table the rest of the way. I mean, there was going to be a stretch where they weren't going to be winning every single game, and that's what I think everybody has come accustomed to. Nobody can continue that pace.
Now the Brewers were able to gain ground, either to catch the teams ahead or gain ground once they took over first place. They never gave up ground for the entire month of August until yesterday. There was a half game here or there when the Brewers didn't play, but not a full game in the standings. It's an impressive run. And now they're going to hope to use some of that cushion and try to get things turned around for tomorrow.
Well, if they go and lose this ball game, you win tomorrow, they've only lost a game. Key is a win tomorrow, though.
Putting the wraps on August here tonight. Hairston down the line has another hit. This is going to go for extras. Jerry Hairston Jr. with his third hit of the game. He's 3 for 4 with an RBI tonight. And a big bright spot in that Brewers offense this evening.
Tried to drop down a little bit and throw the slider, but Mott hung it, and Hairston able to rip it down the line past Freese. Well, the Brewers still have life in the 9th.
Now you wonder if Hairston's going to get a start at shortstop tomorrow. There's been some discussion that he might. Yuri Betancourt probably do a day off at some point. I know Renicky was a little concerned about Betancourt's fingers after that bunt last night. We'll see how they play it.
And he's got 2 hits tonight.
Yeah, and could have very easily had a 3rd hit.
Right.
Betancourt and Hairston both swinging the bat well, and you hate to shelve a hot bat after you suffer through a long hitless streak. When Ricky Weeks does return to the lineup in September, and there will be some decisions with Hairston and his playing time. Kataris into left, and that will do it for tonight. The Cardinals have come in here. They've won the first 2 games of this series, and the division lead is down to 8.5 games in the National League Central. 8-3 the final score. Westbrook beats Wolf. Much more still to come on this one as we send it out to Craig Kashawn. What do you have coming up, Craig, on Brewers Live?
Well, the Brewers are trying to make some team history here on this final month of August, but come up just short. Some remarkable numbers that we will look back on in the month of August. Plus, Corey Hart's hitting streak reaches 13. We'll hear from the manager, Ron Renicky.